Nityanandam, welcome to my YouTube channel, Your Presence Heals. And my name is Manito Dugananda, and today I'd like to share with you how this whole situation with the COVID-19 virus and the uncertainty imposed in the outer world actually helped me to discover a few things. One, my inner freedom. The second is how this basically enforced quarantine and spending time alone with yourself at home made me actually discover many things that I always wanted to do but didn't have time to do because I was being pulled in the outer world, whether it's for social activity, whether it's for travel, whether it's for family activity, all kinds of activities that pull us out to engage in the outer world. But this whole 1.5 years has been, an opportunity for many of us to spend time with ourselves at home and working from home and really have breakthroughs in different levels. Like, for example, one of the things that I discovered is this inner freedom. See, this inner freedom can only be experienced when you have done a lot of spiritual preparation in the past. I can say that by the grace of my Guru, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashiva, many of his devotees and disciples are not very much affected by this whole COVID-19 situation. In fact, while he has advised us to home quarantine ourselves and spend a lot of time working from home and grow spiritually in reading the spiritual books, prayer, etc. One of the things that I felt as one of his greatest gifts for many of us is the science of unclutching. See, the science of unclutching is an ability to be able to unclutch from the inner world, outer world, even this pseudo identity, and you fall into your space of restful awareness, where we call Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Spending time again and again with yourself and discover your true identity. It's been a real inner freedom. See, true freedom cannot be dependent on external condition. The real freedom is, despite all the external condition, you still have the freedom to be in that joyful, blissful space, complete space, and not getting affected. To me, that is the real freedom. So, by Swamiji, my Guru's grace, he prepared many of us to be able to be established in the unclutched space, meaning not clutching to the outer world things, not clutching to our thoughts, identity, our emotions, our body, all the different levels we're clutched in our life. He taught us how to unclutch from everything and just fall into the center of our consciousness, basically the empty space, the vast empty space. So when you are initiated into this science of unclutching, you are able to stabilize yourself whenever the going gets tough in the outer world or in your inner world, like you are getting imbalance in your emotion. You'll be able to unclutch from all this turmoil that's happening inside and outside. So knowing the science of unclutching is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. It's a survival during this whole period of pandemic. You need to learn how to unclutch, otherwise you fall into deep depression or you basically become dysfunctional because many things are taken away. Many things that we're used to are being taken away. Things that you enjoy, things that you get entertained, things that you basically get distracted, they're all taken away during this period. And if you are aware and you have been able to open up that possibility in you to be able to sit with yourself, to be able to be with yourself, with the understanding that you are enough unto yourself, basically you find that inner freedom. You are not distracted, you're not disturbed by this restriction in the outer world. In fact, you can turn this restriction into something that actually help you to grow and expand 360 degrees in all dimensions. See, all you need to do is take responsibility to protect yourself in the preventive measure, like, you know, minimize your time you spend in outside and spend more time within yourself, and be able to basically work with yourself, your body, your mind, and your space, your consciousness. So during this period where I get to spend a lot of time with myself, I get to work from home, one of the things that I actually discover is I've moved all my classes to online because of the restriction. You know, many places are shut down, and also there's restriction in terms of number of people you can gather. So the best way is to work online. And in fact, with this possibility, it actually helped me to discover how to use social media, how to use technology to achieve what I need to achieve in terms of contributing in, you know, people's life. So to me, it's like enforced quarantine helped me to open up these new avenues to reach out to people, which I never actually had time to discover when I was too busy running in the outer world. So to me, it's a blessing in disguise. And not only that, when I spend a lot of time with myself, in fact, for the last 1 year now, since the last July, the Guru Purnima till this year, and now we're entering into the Chatumasya, so-called the 4 months of spiritual practices. I've seen that so much of inner expansion has happened, whether it's leadership consciousness, you know, taking more responsibility. The more responsibility you take up, more expansion, more alive you feel. So taking on more responsibility, like for instance, I have started writing my book again. It's been 4 years now since I wrote my first ebook. Right now I'm writing the second edition of the book on cancer, especially after having worked with, you know, numerous cancer patients in the last 4 years now. So many experiences, learning that I actually gathered from these cancer patients. So I'm actually documenting my experience and share with the world the lesson I learned from life, from death, as well as how to basically bring the lesson that we meant to learn from others going through their life. So that is the one thing that I'm so happy that I'm starting to reconnect again with my writing. And then also I'm working on, you know, projects, working with projects related to children, one of which is Gurukul, and of course there are also other projects that we are working on. So see, many of this possibility would not be there if not for the fact that many things has moved online. When it's moved online, then you're forced to basically think of solution to actually still contribute to humanity, but in a much more creative way. So I feel that where many people or many children are now confined at home, learning from home, what can we do? There are so many things that we can actually continue to enrich the kids and the parents when, you know, even though the restriction in face-to-face interaction. So another thing that I also realized that when I spend a lot of time with myself, many things that I used to want to explore, especially in the realms of yogic sciences and power manifestations, all kinds of spiritual work. Right now is the best time for me. It's like, literally the analogy is like, you know, in the past, in the olden days, a yogi used to, you know, withdraw themselves into the forest or in a cave to do their spiritual penance and all that. I feel that in the modern day, the modern yogi is being reinforced by existence to basically stay at home and quarantine ourselves, and also spend a lot of time within ourselves and discover all the powerful cognitions as well as all the spiritual truth, and discover all the inner potential possibility that lies latent within us. Like just recently, when I started this whole 4 months of Chaturmasya, which is my second year doing this, and when I started to work on my physical body through yoga, I discovered that I was able to connect with divine beings from higher dimension, to be able to learn from them, you know, in the area of, let's say, for instance, stamina, physical stamina as well as conscious stamina. I learned this from Ganapati, Lord Ganesha. He came during one of my practice and showed me exactly how I can actually build my stamina. I can never imagine me doing that if, let's say, you know, I'm too busy out there normally. But with this period of time where you're pretty much alone at home, you have a lot of time to plan your day, you have a lot of time to explore, to study, you know, scriptures, to study, to experiment, which is what I'm doing a lot of experiment on my body and my consciousness. And right now I'm doing the Samyama, Swaraja, Shakti Samyama, which we are supposed to be in silence most of the time. And as well as I'm also working on the sound Samyama, because during the silence, what is the best way is to discover the power of silence. So I'm working on playing with this technology, the sound Samyama, while doing the Samyama of Mauna. So all this possibility wouldn't have happened if, you know, I'm not given the time and space to be alone. If I'm being drawn to the outer world because, you know, the society at the time will be functioning at, you know, total engagement. So right now, where many people are confined at home, you get to spend a lot of time working from home, get a lot of time to spend with yourself and with your kids. So even with my son, we had many opportunity to learn about cooking, because one of his passion is cooking. And recently, just 2 months ago, we started cooking classes, subject cooking classes. So, you know, helping him to discover his cooking skills and his cooking talent. So it's been wonderful, I tell you honestly, this whole period. Many things that I wouldn't have discovered, or many things that I wouldn't have invented, I was able to take this opportunity to reinvent myself, to basically upgrade myself. So honestly, this whole period of time, it's actually, in my opinion, a blessing in disguise. And so I believe all of you, if you know how to basically find this inner freedom, as well as learn how to basically use the time to expand yourself in different dimensions, whether it's physical, psychological, emotional, and spiritually. You will see so much of expansion happen within you, because that's my personal experience as well, and it's still ongoing. I'm just too excited how by the end of Chaturmasya, in the next 3 months, what is going to be, you know, the experience, you know, when I look back. But I'm very sure it will be a quantum jump in many aspects of my life. So with that, I'd like to conclude this video. If you have any doubts, questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be more than happy to reply you in the chat. With that, thank you for listening. Nityanandam.